Arya here, and welcome back to another character summary video. As you notice, the screen behind me is black, a perfect color to represent our next character that we're going to be talking about, Opal. Opal, for those of you who don't know, is my Stardew Valley OC, my main one, and she is a swordswoman. And she is very, very, very powerful. She's definitely a little brash at times, but will do anything to protect the people that she cares about. Especially if it means putting her own life at risk, because that has happened multiple times. And, well, Dr. Harvey has had to, take her into the clinic to perform emergency surgery multiple times. For those of you who have played Stardew Valley, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Anyway, on to some details about her character. Opal's background is a little bit rough. Opal originally, Opal's mother and father were definitely not the nicest of people. Her biological mother and father didn't really want her. And at some point, we don't exactly know, but we're assuming it was around when she was like 3 years old. Her parents were like, "We're done. You're leaving. We can't afford to take care of you anymore." And they just left her alone. So Opal, for about 2 years, almost 3, decided to take matters into her own hands. Luckily, she lived in the old house that her parents were living in before they left, and she would kind of just steal from the garbage cans whenever she could. Occasionally, someone would take pity on her and give her a box of food or something, or some money, so she could actually go buy something, but not enough people in the town actually really cared about her that much. To them, she was just another orphan child. One day, when Opal was searching through the trash cans, she ended up running into a police officer who took her into the station and started questioning her. After a few minutes of her not saying anything to the police officer, the chief came in and sat down in front of her and noticed what she was wearing and asked her, "Are you all alone?" And she said, "Yeah, I am." But she had this look on her face of, "Please don't take pity on me. I just want help." Now, there is a difference between, like, taking pity on someone and, like, feeling bad versus actually helping somebody. So, basically, the chief of police took her home, washed her up, gave her food, let her sleep in a bed, and eventually, he ended up being her adopted father. She trained with a sword from the time she was 10 years old and onwards. She wields a broadsword. It's very, very common type of sword, but it is still effective and she uses it very well. It takes a lot of practice. Opal is very, very smart. She may not look it, she looks more brawn than brain. She does have a little bit of smarts in her. She was an average student in school, so she wasn't a delinquent, but she wasn't a all A student either. She was a middle of the road student who focused more on helping others with charities and other things like that with her father, rather than focusing all of her time onto her studies. Afterwards, she left and joined Joja Corp for a time being because that was the only job that she could do. But she then opened a letter that her grandfather, the father of her adopted father, left for her when she was young. So Opal basically takes the place of the main protagonist of Stardew Valley. So she travels to Stardew Valley, and then the rest is history. She ends up meeting Sebastian later on and falls in love, and now they're married. So it's a really great story, and I really, really love talking about it. Opal is very, very intuitive, very observant. She can tell when something is wrong even when no one has said anything. They may even look completely fine, and she will ask, "Is something wrong?" And 9 times out of 10, there's something wrong, and she helps them deal with it. Opal is very, very smart about dealing with things like that, even though she's not necessarily all book smarts. She is very perceptive. That would be the word that would be used. Opal is one of my favorite characters to talk about, honestly, because of her backstory. Because she's replacing the main character of Stardew Valley, it's a lot different than a lot of other stories that I've created. Not normally, it's an addition. My characters are an addition to the actual plot. Like, they're an epilogue character, or they appear somewhere in the timeline that already exists at a certain point. But with Opal, it's like she entirely replaces the main protagonist of Stardew Valley. It's a little bit strange at first, but I find it quite fascinating. And like I said, she is my main Stardew Valley OC. I do have others, but she is the one that appears in Arcana Misfortune. So I'm going to be talking about her. Pardon my phone. But yes, let me show you what is next. And that would be Opal's character sheet. Here it is. Once again drawn by the lovely Stampa Cat Meow. As you can see from a full body, this is her redesign from the interlude episode onwards in Arcana Misfortune. Originally, her outfit was more of like a black jumpsuit. It's like a black tank top with black pants. Very, very simple, very clean, very normal attire for Opal. Considering the fact that Opal is in the middle of a war right now, with people trying to attack her and the others constantly 24/7, she needed something a little bit more spruced up and a little bit more battle ready. So as you can see, she is wearing a full metal chest plate. It is made with the best iron that Clint could provide her with, and he actually helped her make it. The design is very ornate, despite it being a very practical piece. I also love the lacing that's around the sleeves. It provides a nice touch, so it makes it look like she actually has something on her arms instead of just bare arms. Her choker is a black choker with a frozen tear, which is an in-game item, and it's also one of Sebastian's favorite items. He saved one, and he put it on the choker for her and gave it to her during the interlude quest. It's very, very pretty. Opal also got a major upgrade to her haircut, as you can see. She has a undercut now, and when she puts her hair up, like she puts it in a braid and ties it around the back, you can actually see the undercut on both sides. From the front, it looks completely normal, but on the sides, it's completely showing, and it's not always hidden, which is perfect for her because she does have a secret sweet side that not a lot of people get to see. So, it's pretty character accurate, and I love the way that Stampa designed that. Opal's personality in terms of how she puts into her clothing, she normally does things very slapdash with her clothes. She doesn't really think about her outfits too much. She only puts on what's necessary for protection and tries to travel light. She brings food, she brings the clothes on her back, and her sword. She tries not to bring too many items with her because she doesn't want it to hinder her when she's fighting monsters in the mines or in the Skull Cavern. Opal is very, very abrasive sometimes, so also the undercut kind of suits that personality as well. But as you can see to some of the pictures on the side, she is a little bit sensitive. Opal can get very confused very easily, especially when it comes to long, complicated things. Sometimes when she's talking to someone like Charlotte or Opal or Rose, where they're very, like, they have very, like, computer-like brains, where it's like, you know, Charlotte's a lawyer, Copper is a robot, and Rose is a intense puzzle solver slash princess, so very, very punctual and ornate talking. Opal tends to get pretty confused very easily, so oftentimes that derpy face will be one that she could make quite easily. She also tends to get quite angry when she doesn't understand something. She feels like she's being left out, and well, even though they're not trying to, so it may not intentionally be to make Opal feel bad, but it does make her feel bad. But instead of being upset, she kind of turns into more angry, which is why you can see the little annoyed mark on her face in that one. There's one over on the far right, that is the right, that is her sweating and laughing because she actually is quite the jokester. She does love jokes, which is why Iris's puns actually make her laugh. Iris's puns often make other people groan or like, really? But Opal actually finds them quite funny. Opal's sense of humor is quite similar to Iris's, and they both enjoy talking to each other about that kind of thing, which is super awesome in my opinion. And then last but not least, at the very, very bottom, over on the right, there is a picture of her holding her sword in front of her. Again, showing a determination and very, very defensive Opal. As soon as, like, she hears anyone is hurt or someone hurt someone, she will get in front of them and be like, where are they? Let me at them. I will take care of them. If you saw episode 5 of season 1, that was perfectly well explained when Sapphire and the others first tried to explain to Opal what was going on, and she sort of got a little ahead of herself and ran off trying to protect the townspeople, not knowing it was actually her, and, well, she ended up missing a lot of information. But yes, this really shows how determined that Opal is towards protecting others, no matter what the situation may be. Even if it's something as small as someone stole crops, or even to as bad as someone murdered your best friend. She would be there. She'll be there, she'll help you, she'll get you through it, and then she will go after whoever did that to you. It seems a little silly, but it actually works well. Yes. Anyways, that is all I pretty much wanted to talk about in terms of Opal's character. Thank you so much for coming, and I will see you all next time for Charlotte's character summary. This is going to be another fun one to talk about because it's a little bit deeper as well than a lot of my other characters. I hope to see you all there, and I will see you all next time. Bye! Stay sharp, Shadeslayers!